good, beautiful morning. It's already hot here in Florida. I'm back at my little favorite nook. I hadn't been over here in a while. And I got a new bike. And I rode it over here and I've been testing it out the last few days. It's a baggy bike and it sure does ride neat. I love it. And I can already hear some people, the critics, are going to say, whew, Caleb, he can afford a new bike. He should pay all that child support. I'm glad y'all brought that up. Because child support is today's topic and where it comes from. The way we know child support, like I've talked about in the past, is money. It's extortion. What most people think of as child support is using the government, the state government, through the Office of the Attorney General Child Support Division to extort money from half of all divorced parents. The other half wind up with primary custody. And the reason I'm bringing this up is, well, A, it affects me, but I'm just a drop in the bucket. It affects every single divorced family out there that decides they must use the state to mediate their divorce. I'm not an expert on this, but I know enough now to at least talk about it a little bit. I was blind in the past. I was ignorant in the past. There have been lots of divorced parents, mostly fathers, but some divorced mothers who told me in the past about this thing called Title 4D. And Title 4D is probably the most boring thing that any YouTuber could make a video about. Those fish are splashing so much, it's so pretty. And I'm gonna try to make this as not boring as possible. Title 4D is part of the Social Security Act. The Social Security Act was passed way before I was born, before my parents were born. I think it was in the 30s, maybe the 40s. I don't know, it was a long time ago. It's basically the welfare state. It's the introduction to the welfare state. And in the early 70s, Title 4D, Title 4D of the Social Security Act was passed by Congress, the faithful, loyal, most trustworthy of human beings elected to office there in Congress in Washington, D.C., to incentivize the states. As with all government programs, we're the government, we're here to help. It possibly, maybe, could have had good intentions by the writers, maybe, I don't know. But what it's turned into is the catastrophic clusterfuck that is child support within all the states. In a nutshell, the Attorney General's office gets paid a percentage of every dollar they extract from divorced parents. Maybe it's 60 cents, maybe it's 70 cents per dollar. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not even gonna pretend to know, but I do know it exists. And coincidentally, I have found out that Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas, knows all too well what Title 4D is. Ken Paxton, being the Attorney General of Texas, is the enforcer of that law. I recently watched an interview, a couple interviews actually, smaller, nothing on Fox News or anything, but just small people like me, just go around trying to get answers, talk to these politicians. And Ken Paxton acknowledged that he is aware of Title 4D. Ken Paxton acknowledged that he enforces Title 4D. Ken Paxton has acknowledged that he claims he does not support Title 4D, he just enforces it. That being said, unlike 2018, in 2022, Ken Paxton has got some, not just one, but several serious big name contenders for his seat, for his office. Eva Guzman is a Republican who has recently resigned, or I don't know if it's resigned. That always has a negative connotation. She basically put in her 2 weeks notice, whatever they call it, for a judgeship. And she's no longer on the Texas Supreme Court. She's announced she's running for Attorney General of Texas. And who else? Joe Jaworski. I'm probably not saying that name right, but apparently he was the former mayor of Galveston, Texas, I think. He's also a Democrat running on the Democrat ticket, running for Ken Paxton's office. Lee Merritt is an attorney, civil rights attorney, bless him for that, who is out of Dallas. I believe is running on the Democrat ticket, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, I'm neither Republican nor Democrat. He's done a lot of work for civil rights, as far as mostly people basically getting harassed and or shot by cops. And one more. There's a name out there that everybody's heard of, and his name is George P. Bush. Maybe you haven't heard of George P., but everybody knows Bush. George P. Bush is the grandson of the former president and the great-grandson of the former George H.W. Bush and the nephew of the former president. He's also the son of the former governor of Florida, which is where I'm at now, Jeb Bush. George P. Bush is currently, to the best of my knowledge, he is the elected railroad commissioner of Texas. He has also announced he's going to run as a Republican. You may have seen in the news that George P. Bush was hoping to get the endorsement of the other former president, President Trump, and he did not. Guess who got that? That's right, Ken Paxton got it. And I'm bringing this up, and I promise I've got a point, so bear with me. Out of these 4 names that are running against Ken Paxton, I've been watching them all. Not really, really closely, but I've looked through their Twitter. I've looked through their Instagram and blah, 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 Facebook. Not one of these candidates has acknowledged Title 4D and the problems that it has brought and destroyed in Texas and has destroyed Texas families. Now, I'm only speaking for Texas families because that's where I raised my kids. That's where I was born. That's where I raised all my kids, what little I was allowed to. Title 4D affects all 57 states. Yes, I know there's 50 states. That's a joke. Kind of like a video I made when Parker turned 17. I said D-U-M, dumb. I am fully aware that the word dumb is spelled D-U-M-B. Anyways, not one of these politicians that want Ken Paxton's job has brought up Title 4D. Not one. But what's funny is the guy that I can't stand, whom I also am aware did not sit down at his desk and decide, hey, whatever, we're just not going to update his file. I know it wasn't him. I've made that abundantly clear in other videos. But he is the head of that office. Weirdly enough, Ken Paxton is the only one who's running for Attorney General out of the 5 who's actually acknowledged Title 4D. Now, Ken Paxton says that I don't agree with Title 4D. I simply enforce the laws. If you don't like Title 4D, like I don't like Title 4D, you need to go to the politicians. They're the ones that make the laws. It's not my fault. Which only tells me everything I need to know. Ken Paxton's just part of the machine. He didn't make the laws. It's not his fault. He just enthusiastically enforces it to the tune of about $4 billion a year. That's just what he takes from people like me, the payers. He's not gonna tell you what his office gets from the feds through Title 4D to pay his own employees. And that's a problem. There's an old saying, we all know what it is. It takes an act of Congress to get blah, blah, blah done. Well, it takes an act of Congress to get Title 4D, apparently, scrapped and abolished the way it should be and replaced by absolutely nothing. Caleb, what's your solution? What would you do? Well, first of all, maybe there wouldn't be such incentive to get knocked up and have a bunch of kids in order to create a bigger resume so you can use the tool called the child support office to the family courts to get all that money that is due you. It's crap. Everybody knows, any woman knows she can get pregnant. And I'm not accusing all mothers, my God, I'm not stupid. Good mothers know better. Believe me, I know they're out there. I would know. I am in that position. I would know because I've talked to lots of them. But to me, it's just another pass the buck excuse. Ken Paxton is famous for suing the federal government. He became Attorney General back when Barack Obama was still the President of the United States. And he openly bragged about suing the Obama administration over and over and over. I don't know if he sued the Trump administration. I doubt it. You know, everyone knows he's a big Trump guy. He was there on January 6th, you know, doing his thing there in Washington. But now that Biden's in office, he's openly bragging about suing the Biden administration. It's unconstitutional, Ken Paxton says. It's unconstitutional, whatever he decides to pick. And he's always suing them. Ken Paxton loves suing America, apparently. But what Ken Paxton doesn't seem to care to sue anybody about is Title 4D. And I've come to realize in my years on this planet that you don't always, like the famous philosopher Mick Jagger said, you can't always get what you want, but he also said sometimes you just might find you get what you need. And everyone knows I've run my mouth about Ken Paxton all these years, but I'm here to say I understand negotiations. I'm not stupid. There's lots of things that I was basically forced to do because, well, let's face it, they put a gun to your head. You're going to do what, even if it's something you don't want to do. That's how politics is. I hate politics. I hate politicians, except for Ron Paul. But I'll make a deal with you, Ken. You openly sue the federal government constantly when it's the opposing party in office doing all these unconstitutional things. Well, Ken Paxton, I've got news for you. Title 4D of the Social Security Act is most definitely and obviously unconstitutional. You yourself have acknowledged that you don't even support it. So Ken Paxton, I'll make a deal with you. Nobody running against you has brought up that topic. And it tells me that they're just another slimy politician wanting your job. They just want to be a different shiny figurehead, and all that power and glory and attention and spotlights to come onto them. They just want your job to do your job for you. Maybe slightly different. They got smaller other issues. Whether or not, maybe if you're watching this, maybe you aren't divorced, maybe your parents aren't divorced, but you most certainly know somebody who is divorced. And most people don't run their mouths and film what happens to their children like I did, because look what they did to me. I'm living proof. This is exactly why people don't run their mouth. They get their kids taken, they get thrown in jail, and they get all their money taken. Basically homeless. And it's just tough crap. But back to my deal with Ken Paxton. Ken, I'll make a deal with you, man. Since you like suing the federal government so much, you figure out a way, since you are the lawyer, not me, you figure out a way to sue the federal government and put the words Title 4D on the tips of the tongue of every American in the United States. Make them realize, unlike my dumbass, all those years paying all that child support, going completely broke, I wasn't even aware of it until years later. I learned about it about 4 years ago, but even then I ignored it. Only recently, since I've been in Florida, have I acknowledged how awful and the root cause of all these problems are, and it's Title 4D. Ken, sue the federal government. You don't even have to win. Figure out a way to do what you do and sue the federal government over Title 4D to be abolished, not removed and replaced with something else. Completely abolished and replaced with absolutely nothing. And I, Caleb Leverett, will endorse you, Ken Paxton, in 2022 on your re-election. This isn't something I've ever done. People here lately have said, well, I would imagine Caleb Leverett's endorsement would mean a lot. And maybe it would, or maybe it don't. I don't think that much myself, but some people seem to think that. So, Ken, here's an open invitation, man. I'll shut up about you and what all the crap you've done. And again, you don't even have to win the lawsuit, but file a lawsuit and sue the federal government, however that, I'm not a lawyer. You're the lawyer, not me. And tweet about it and get in the media about it. Go on to your favorite Fox News about it. Your favorite local radio people, your minions that just love to defend your party. They're not defending you, they're defending the party, because that's how most people are with politics. They defend their party. I'm not either Republican nor Democrat. People have been asking me, who are you going to vote for, Caleb? Who would you support to run against Paxton? Everybody's always sending me links to all these people. That's how I know who they are. And again, not one person, George P. Bush, Eva Guzman, Lee Merritt, or Joe Jaworski, not one of y'all has brought up Title 4D and the problems that it brings with this crazy amount of child support, this invasive invasion of privacy. These lawyers with these beady eye lawyers get their glasses on. Okay, Mr. Leverett, I need you to bend over and we need to stick something right up your anus. How much money did you make? How much did you make off YouTube, Mr. Leverett? We gotta know. That's not deep enough. We need to know a little more. We gotta get more money because it's for the children, and nobody's gonna be against the children. That's how that works. So, Ken Paxton, again, file a lawsuit somehow, some way against the federal government. Hell, blame it on Biden. I don't give a shit. I don't have any loyalty to that guy either. File a lawsuit against the federal government and sue to abolish Title 4D of the United States Social Security Act. And I, Caleb Leverett, if you do that and get on Fox News and all your favorite people and talk about this latest lawsuit about filing to abolish Title 4D, then I, Caleb Leverett, will endorse you, Ken Paxton, Warren Kenneth Paxton Jr. of Texas, for the next, yet again, for the third time, Attorney General of the state of Texas. We shall see, Ken. And if not, okay, fine. Good luck then. Good luck keeping your job. Anyway, y'all take care. Abolish Title 4D and abolish these gnats. Bye.